Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we have got another video from The Rat Knows, and this is TikTok's darkest scandals. We did YouTube last time. Now we're going over to the banned for one day own as TikTok. We will get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, hit subscribe button, comment, thing down below. Let's go.
Dark secrets exposed to shocking acts of violence. TikTok has been the stage for some truly disturbing scandals that shook the internet. These aren't just viral moments, they're controversies that left a lasting impact on the platform and its users. Get ready as we dive into the stories that went far beyond the For You page. Case number 1, Emmanuel Nubugati.
I think I won't know barely any of these all, except for like maybe one, which is in the teaser, which is the guy who like apparently filmed like bodies in an area in Japan and then was like, he deleted the video and then hasn't mentioned it since. I know that guy. I think that's it.
Social media has become the place where people speak their minds, share jokes, and sometimes stir the pot for a chance at viral fame. But for Emmanuel Nubugati, a 21-year-old comedian from Uganda, one joke went way too far, at least for the eyes of his government. Emmanuel is a TikTok creator with 20,000 followers who love his funny comedic skits. But one day, he decided to push the envelope with a video where he joked about putting Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni, on trial. At the end of the skit, he jokingly sentenced Museveni to a public flogging. It was satire, a playful jab at the president's 30-plus years in charge. But not everyone thought it was funny.
I guarantee the president was just like, this guy made a TikTok about him. He must put him out of his misery for good.
Things took a turn when Emmanuel was arrested. He was accused of hate speech and spreading false information. What started out as a joke quickly turned into a serious legal battle, and Emmanuel found himself facing Uganda's tough laws against online content. He pled guilty in court, maybe hoping for some leniency, but instead of a slap on the wrist, he got 32 months in prison. That's nearly 3 years behind bars, all because of what was supposed to be a funny TikTok.
That's insane. That's insane. Genuine. 3 years for a joke? That's insane. This person took that personally.
But Emmanuel wasn't the only one in Uganda facing punishment for speaking out online. Just a few months earlier, another TikToker named Edward Aweba was sentenced to 6 years in prison for similar videos. And right now, there are 3 more creators waiting for their day in court. The government is using a law called the 2022 Computer Misuse Act to crack down on the content they don't like. Officially, the law is supposed to regulate online behavior, but many people believe it's being used to silence critics and control what people say on the internet. It has
Well, people probably hate me. I love to see people try to come at me for that shit.
Sparked a lot of backlash. Human rights groups have called out the law as an attack on free speech, and even the US government has criticized it. But in Uganda, the authorities don't seem too concerned about what outsiders think. In Emmanuel's case, the judge didn't hold back. She said she hoped that by the time he got out of prison, he had learned his lesson about using content to attack people. It was clear this wasn't just about Emmanuel. The government wanted to send a message to everyone else. Jokes about those in power wouldn't be tolerated. This whole situation highlights a bigger issue. Social media has given people a platform.
So what do people, what do this country do when people like outside of Uganda do it? Like, do they try to kidnap you, bring you over there so they can arrest you? What the hell do they do? Because clearly it must be a bad leadership thing if multiple people are making content criticizing it, so clearly something's awry.
To speak up, even in places where it's risky. But for creators like Emmanuel, it can come with serious consequences. What started as a lighthearted joke turned into something much worse. But Uganda isn't the only place where TikTok creators have faced serious consequences for their actions. Across the globe, the platform has seen its fair share of controversies. Case number 2, Icy Wyatt.
I don't know this one.
From viral fame to a prison sentence, this next story left everyone wondering. How does a TikTok creator with millions of followers go from mukbangs and lifestyle vlogs to facing a judge in one of South Florida's most bizarre cases? Wyatt Yeager, better known as Icy Wyatt, was on his way to becoming a social media sensation with over 850,000.
Is he the one that, no, he can't be the one I'm thinking. Is he the one that, like, was caught on body cam, like, talking to police and talking about how famous he is and he had millions of followers? Or am I thinking of someone else?
1,000 followers and 28 million likes, his flashy pink Mercedes and over-the-top personality kept fans and followers hooked. But behind the glitz of his TikTok persona, things were about to take an unexpected turn. It happened one night in the spring of 2022 when witnesses reported seeing Wyatt stopping his car in the middle of Sunrise Boulevard, holding up traffic in his signature pink car. When two guys approached to ask him to move, it didn't go over well. What started as a heated argument.
Oh my god, he is the guy. I didn't even know his name. I didn't even know the TikToker's name. I just went by a guess. By the look of him, I was trying to remember the look the guy had when he did that. I did not think this was actually going to be the one. I did not think this was actually going to be the... I can't believe I nailed that. Legitimately, I can't believe I nailed that.
It quickly escalated into something far more dangerous. Wyatt reportedly followed the men to a nearby Chick-fil-A, where things quickly got ugly. According to police, he grabbed a gun from his car, threatened the pair, and hit one of them in the head with the weapon.
Ow.
After the fight, Wyatt took off, but it didn't take long for officers to track him down using his license plate. When police caught up with him, things didn't exactly calm down. Wyatt resisted arrest, lashing out at officers, kicking one in the thigh, and yelling curses as they took him into custody. The charges were serious: aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and resisting arrest. But Wyatt wasn't about to stay silent. Days after his arrest, he posted a TikTok claiming the police were at fault. The rumors aren't true, he told his followers. The truth will come out when I can legally talk about it. The video went viral, but as more details were released to the public, the story didn't hold up. By the time the case went to trial, the evidence against him was overwhelming. Wyatt was convicted of assault and battery, earning himself...
Yeah, because he's the one that says he has millions. Were the ones he used. Millions of followers, and they would all do whatever it took to get him out, and I think he said stupid shit like that. Ridiculous. Also kept bringing up that he's a star on TikTok and like social media. I think assuming they let him go because of that, I don't know.
5 years in prison, followed by house arrest and probation. The court also ordered mental health evaluations, drug testing, and restitution to his victims. I see Wyatt's rise and fall stunned TikTok, leaving his fans and followers to wonder how it all went so wrong. But this isn't the only shocking case tied to a creator. Next, we dive into the tragic story of a TikToker accused of the unthinkable: murder. Case number 3, Terrion Thomas. Terrion Thomas, better known to nearly 4 million TikTok followers as Mr. Prada, was living the kind of life most influencers dreamed about: going viral, building a fan base, and soaking up the attention of social media fame. But that dream would shatter when the 20-year-old was accused of murdering a Baton Rouge therapist in a brutal case that left both his fans and his community shocked. It all
That's insane. Why the hell did they attack a therapist for? What the hell?
Started on September 29th, 2024, when the body of 69-year-old William Nicholas Abraham was discovered along Highway 51 in Louisiana, duct-taped and wrapped in a blue tarp. The coroner later confirmed he had been beaten to death. Abraham, a well-known therapist and former Catholic priest, had last been seen the night before, walking into Thomas's apartment complex. Security footage from that night showed Abraham arriving in the same clothes he was later found in, and hours later, Thomas dragging what looked like a body wrapped in a tarp down the stairs. Witnesses told police they saw Thomas loading the tarp into Abraham's car, a black Lincoln MKZ, before driving off. That was just the beginning. After dumping the body, Thomas fled in Abraham's car. When Baton Rouge police tried to pull him over, he led them on a high-speed chase before crashing the vehicle and...
Why? What did this guy do, or what does this guy have that made him kill him? Because, like, seems so bizarre. I'm gonna guess the guy's gonna say he racially profiled. That's my guess. But I actually don't know what, like, the reason could be.
Taking off on foot. He managed to slip out of Louisiana entirely, but his run didn't last long. Authorities tracked him down in Dallas, Texas on October 1st, where he was arrested and hit with charges like unauthorized vehicle use and resisting arrest. Once Thomas was back in Louisiana, the case only got darker. Investigators found Abraham's blood in Thomas's apartment, along with sharp objects and other signs of a violent fight. Prosecutors escalated the charges to first-degree murder. As of now, Thomas hasn't entered a plea and is being held without bond. A preliminary hearing is set for January, but here's where things get even more unsettling. No one seems to know why the two men crossed paths in the first place. There's no evidence Abraham was a client of Thomas, and their connection remains a mystery. Abraham's friends and colleagues are heartbroken, describing him as a kind and dedicated man who spent his life helping others. For Thomas, who once joked about practicing for a mugshot in a TikTok, it's hard to imagine anything funny about what's happened. The case has stunned the internet, leaving Thomas's followers grappling with the bizarre and tragic twist in the story of someone they thought they knew. While Terrion Thomas's arrest for murder shocked everyone, another TikToker made headlines for a less violent but still controversial incident. Case number 4, Ember Matthews. Amber Matthews, known online as Ambermelia, thought she was doing something righteous. On March 11th, 2024, she walked into Effie's Hero, a cozy Greek restaurant in Montclair, New Jersey, and made a decision that would blow up in a way she never imagined. She tore down a string of flags, shouting about genocide and Zionism, all while recording herself. "I don't stand for Zionism in Montclair," she yelled, holding the flags she had just ripped down. The prop.
Okay, so this woman was thinking she was doing some righteous shit, pulling out a flag, but she wasn't. She wasn't doing that, so that's the problem.
Those flags weren't Israeli, they were Greek. As the staff gently corrected her, Matthews froze, realizing her mistake. "Oh shit, it looked like Israel," she casually admitted, trying to brush it off, but the damage was done.
This is Greeky.
Who's this?
This is Greeky.
What? Really?
Greeky.
Oh, I thought it was my bad.
Her TikTok video
My bad. Logan, my bad. My bad. My bad. I'm going, hold on. Someone's called. I'm ending the damn phone call. Sorry. Someone was calling me. I had to. Wasn't anything important. I also just stubbed my toe, so I'm having a bad day. But yeah, she was going on like, look, I was being righteous. I was taking down the Israel flags. I'm thinking they're like, no, it's Greek. She's like, my bad. We good, right? We good. We good. We good. It's just a misunderstanding. We good, right? We good.
quickly went viral, and millions watched as she proudly clicked.
I think what makes this so insane, she posted this video. I would have left this. If she was doing a film, I would have left it in the dark. I would have never let this video go out. My brain would not be able to do, because I'm like, this girl making me look like an idiot. Why would you post this? As I heard someone say, Batman could not get this video from me. And she just posted it.
Claimed to stand up against Zionism, only to become the face of an embarrassing scandal.
Yeah.
Authorities didn't even know who she was until she posted the video months later. But
That's what I'm
once
saying.
it was out there, they had a lead.
That's what I'm saying. Why you even post a video? You had no reason to. You literally didn't need to.
Now, Amber Matthews is facing serious criminal charges, bias, and intimidation. Her court date is set for December 3rd, 2020.
I'm going to be honest. That shocks me they actually arrested her for this. I just let the internet laugh at her. Maybe I'm wrong, though, but I just would have.
24, and what started as a single impulsive act has spiraled into a legal nightmare. Her viral TikTok, meant to be a show of protest, turned into a reminder of how quickly things can go wrong when we don't check our facts. But not all TikTok scandals are the result of a single mistake. Sometimes the platform can become a powerful tool for exposing secrets that have stayed buried for years. Case number 5, teaches at Oregon school. In the age of TikTok, where a single video can explode overnight, the truth has a way of slipping out, even when it's been buried for years. That's exactly what happened when 36-year-old Doug Weaver, a former student at St. Helens High School in Oregon, posted a video that turned everything upside down. Doug claimed that his old high school had been protecting teachers who preyed on students for years, all while the district just looked the other way. As the story gained traction online, two names kept coming up: Eric Stearns, the friendly choir teacher everyone seemed to trust, and Mark Collins, who had only recently retired. Both were accused of sexually abusing underage girls for nearly a decade. By 2024, they were behind bars, but
Interesting. So this guy claims that the school just protected them, allowed them to do it, and everyone just looked the other way. That's insane. That's sickening. That's disgusting. Like, that's about as evil as it gets for school board to protect someone who's abusing children, and you protect them, not the fucking children. That's insane. That's straight disturbing.
Doug's video brought to light something more unsettling that the school had apparently known all along. The post sparked a flood of anger. Students and parents started coming forward with their own stories, accusing the school of ignoring the red flags for years. A lot of people who had stayed silent before finally began to speak up, and it wasn't long before the pressure got too intense to ignore. Principal Katie Wagner and Superintendent Scott Stockwell were put on paid leave, while Ryan Scholl, the school board chairman, resigned altogether, admitting the backlash had become impossible to contain. The fallout.
Oh man, shit, we gotta resign. I gotta resign. Look, the stress of people saying I'm a piece of shit for a day, I can't contain it. I can't shut them up any longer. I'll have to resign, I guess. I can't silence them any further.
Out at St. Helens High was massive, but just as people were wrapping their heads around the story, another case broke. A TikToker at the center of a shooting. Case number 6, Ladarius Brownlee and Sadea Zara Hashemi in the suburbs of North Texas. Ladarius Brownlee and Zara Hashemi seemed like the perfect TikTok power couple. Their account, Dino and Zara, had 150,000 followers who loved their content and glimpses into the relationship. But behind the posts and viral dances, things were not as perfect as they seemed online. On July 4, 2024, the two 28-year-olds spent their evening at the annual Independence Fest at Bakersfield Park in Flower Mound. It was a night of fireworks and celebrations, but apparently the couple started arguing. Witnesses said it sounded heated but nothing out of the ordinary at first. Then things escalated fast. Brownlee forced Zara into the back seat of his 2024 Chevy Blazer, and as the arguing continued, things went from bad to worse. At some point, Brownlee stopped the car along Flower Mound Road, pulled a Glock from the driver's side door, and shot Zara above her right eye. When police showed up later that night, they found Zara on the pavement, barely hanging on while Brownlee stood nearby. He had already called 911 and admitted to what he had done. Zara was rushed to Baylor.
I will never, and I mean this, I'll never understand how anger that people just like, oh, it's just an emotion in the moment. I've had anger. At no point has my anger ever fueled me to take out another person with a gun. It's never happened. I have been angry to the point of wanting violence. You know what I mean? I've blacked out angry. Still, even when blacked out anger, I've never done that. Never been that bad.
Scott and White Medical Center in Grapevine, where she fought for her life in critical condition. Brownlee didn't try to run. He was arrested on the spot and is now facing charges for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In a much less dramatic turn of events, another TikTok creator ended up in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Case number 7, Thomas Brienza. What happens when a social media prank goes way too far? For Thomas Brienza, better known as Tom the Troll on TikTok, his drive for internet fame ended with a trip to jail after his airport prank took a turn for the worse. On August 24th, 2024, at Charleston International Airport, 20-year-old Thomas Brienza walked up to some officers and hit them with an out-of-nowhere confession. He told them he had a bomb, a gun, and fentanyl in his car parked outside. He said he was feeling nervous and didn't want any trouble. Right away, though, the officers knew something was off. Brienza was wearing a pair of black Ray-Ban sunglasses with a hidden camera. When they pressed him about it, he admitted the whole thing was a prank for his TikTok and YouTube channel, where he pulls stunts to mess with people, including...
Look, I'm gonna be honest. There are some pranks where if some people did to me, I'd hit them. I'm just gonna stay straight out there. If you came to me and bugged me and annoyed me the way these guys do to people, I'd knock you lights out. I'd probably punch you in the face if you're a guy. I'm gonna do it honest. I'm just gonna speak straight. I just would lose my mind.
Cops. But to airport security, it wasn't exactly a joke. To them, big bomb threats are no laughing matter. Even though a search of his car didn't turn up any weapons or drugs, Brienza was still slapped with a felony charge for threatening to use a weapon of mass destruction. His bail? $100,000. Now he's facing the possibility of being flagged by the FBI and banned from flying, maybe for life, all because of a prank he didn't think through. With subscribers on YouTube and TikTok followers, Brienza's antics were all about going viral, but even his friends agree, this one crossed the line. And when it comes to chasing clout, the stories only get wilder. Like our next case, about TikToker in Lahore who got arrested for a fake car plate. Case number 8, Nadim Mubarak.
Okay.
Nadim Mubarak, or as millions know him, Nadim Naniwala, is a TikToker living the high life. But what happens when chasing clout goes way too far? It started like any other traffic stop in Lahore's defense area. Nadim was pulled over for a routine check, but things took a turn when the cops noticed something strange about his vehicle. A fake license plate, IK804, was bolted onto his luxury car. The plate wasn't just random either. It matched the infamous jail ID of a former prime minister. Nadim was arrested on the spot and his car was seized, and
That's insane. He put a fake license plate that was the prison numbers for a former prime minister. That's insane.
just like that, the TikTok star was staring down serious charges for driving around with a counterfeit plate. But this wasn't just about one influencer slipping up. Behind the scenes, the police were already dealing with a bigger headache: cops making TikTok content of their own. The backlash had been building for a while, and Nadim's arrest was the tipping point. That same day, the Lahore police dropped a strict ban on officers making TikToks while in uniform. No exceptions. Violators would face serious consequences, but for many, the damage to the department's image was already done. And Nadim wasn't the only one caught in the crosshairs. Just days before, a young man named Ahmed
Was he an officer? So he was an officer making TikToks and had a fake license plate, and is he stupid?
was shot dead in Liaquatabad, right outside his own house. The details were murky, but the police suspected TikTok drama had something to do with it. With TikTok's wild popularity, more people are pushing boundaries to go viral, including the TikToker in our next case. Case number 9, Life in Scars. In October 2023, the internet lost its mind over one of the wildest TikTok rumors ever: that TikTok content creator Life in Scars was dead, or at least that's what everyone thought. Life in Scars, a 37-year-old TikTok creator, was known for his controversial takes on relationships and life. He had a huge following, so when word got out that he had died from an overdose, fans were completely blindsided. Mods on Discord and some of his friends online backed it up too, with one of them saying, "Yeah, he passed from an overdose. I'll post updates if I hear more." People flooded his socials with RIP.
Why would you fake this? Why would people fake this? Why are friends backing this? That's what I'm confused. They're like, people doing it online. It happens all the time. Why are friends backing that up?
Messages. But none of it was true. A week later, rumors started popping up, and then the truth came out. He wasn't dead. He hadn't overdosed either. Turns out he had been arrested on a misdemeanor charge that same day everyone thought he died, and the people who were confirming his death admitted they let the rumors spread because they thought it was hilarious. When he finally came back online, though, he didn't exactly clear the air. During a live stream on Academics TV, Life in Scars popped up alive and well, grinning and doing drugs on camera. He didn't bother addressing the rumors about his death, but one thing was clear: he wasn't sorry. Not even a little. He was dead one week, and the next he was back online.
Does he know about the rumors? Does he know how insane they got? I would assume so. But does he actually know how serious they got?
Trolling like nothing happened. Another TikTok personality has also made headlines for all the wrong reasons. This time for a series of crimes that would leave his followers shocked to learn that they had all been following a serial killer. Case number
What?
10, Karim. Karim was the kind of guy you'd never think twice about. On his TikTok channel, Hooked on Phonics, he'd break down American slang for non-English speakers in a relatable way. With over 600,000 followers, he came across as completely harmless, just a guy sharing language tips online. But behind the scenes, Karim was the furthest thing from being harmless. A 37-year-old Egyptian American with dual citizenship, Karim was living a disturbing double life, and his gated apartment in New Cairo wasn't just a home, it was a death trap. In late 2023, Egyptian authorities uncovered something straight out of a nightmare. 3 bodies were found in remote locations, all with the same brutal injuries. The victims were all women who had met Karim. He dated them, gained their trust, and then led them to their violent deaths. Karim had a sadistic streak.
That's insane. That's next level evil. That's a planned murder. That is a guy who dated women, lured their trust, and then killed them. That is about as straight to the point as you can get right there.
Inside his apartment, police found a soundproof room designed to trap his victims and drown out their screams. He wasn't just killing these women, he was tormenting them. He'd force them to take drugs and then carry out his twisted acts. As if that wasn't sick enough, he'd recorded everything on his phone. After the murders, he dumped the bodies like they were nothing, tossing them in his car trunk and leaving them in deserted areas. And at the time of these killings, Karim kept posting on TikTok like everything was normal. His followers adored him. His family had no clue. Even his ex-wife was blindsided when the truth came out. When the police finally arrested him, it turned out he wasn't just responsible for 3 murders. There were 6 victims. The news rocked Egypt, with people comparing him to infamous killers like Gaddafi Farag, the Giza slaughterer. Just like them, Karim had used his charm to lure people in before showing who he really was. But sometimes, the danger doesn't come from behind the scenes. It comes directly from the content itself. Case number 11. Fake news in Pakistan.
Oh, I'm not surprised. This is a thing anywhere. Fake news on TikTok is screwing up a bunch of people dropping facts that aren't true and because people think they know things, they can just say whatever, and yeah, it doesn't work. There's no like real news people anymore. There's no like the real journalist.
The next case takes us to Punjab, Pakistan, with a story that spread like wildfire. A girl student had supposedly been. The news hit a nerve with the public, sparking protests that got out of control fast. People poured into the street, furious, and before long, things turned ugly. Buildings were trashed, cars set on fire, and chaos took over. The only problem, the story wasn't true. When the cops got...
Hold on. You're telling me there were riots in the street because of a TikTok news report? That's it? No one else? No actual news were reporting this, just TikTok, and there were riots in the street? That's insane.
involved, they uncovered...
Those are people who take TikTok news way too seriously. You can't take anything TikTok says as facts.
Covered a wild twist. Turns out, the whole thing had been made up and spread by a bunch of vloggers and TikTokers. They hyped the fake story, stoking outrage and pushing people to protest. But it didn't end there. The FIA cybercrime team dug deeper and found 38 social media accounts at the center of it all. These weren't just random influencers, it included some big names, like senior journalists and lawyers who had shared the story. So far, 16 people have been arrested, and over 40 students are being investigated for jumping into the chaos. Now, the authorities are racing to get things back under control, and while the spread of fake news is bad, some TikTokers have been linked to even darker and disturbing acts of violence. Case number 12, Ali Abulaban. TikTok fame took a deadly turn in one of the platform's most shocking stories. Ali Abulaban, a TikTok personality, is now spending the rest of his life in prison after killing his estranged wife, Anna Marie Abulaban, and her friend, Rayburn Barron. This wasn't just about fame. It was about control, obsession, and how things can go horribly wrong. Ali and Anna's marriage was a mess behind the scenes. Nothing like the happy image they might have shown online. It was full of abuse and manipulation, and Anna had finally had enough. Just hours before her death, she texted Ali, "I want you out of my life." But Ali wasn't ready to let her go. He even planted a listening device on their 5-year-old daughter's iPad to spy on her. When he overheard a man's voice in her apartment, he lost it. Ali stormed in, shot Rayburn 3 times, then turned the gun on Anna and shot her in the head. In court, Ali tried to blame...
That's insane. That's insane. He didn't even do it. He literally just heard a guy's voice and just snapped. That is an insane, controlling, abusive bastard. That's insane. I keep repeating it, but it legitimately is.
Blame it on his uncontrollable rage, but the evidence told a different story. Anna had reported his abuse weeks earlier, and unfortunately, his violent behavior wasn't anything new. When the judge handed him 2 life sentences without parole, plus an extra 50 years for using a gun, the courtroom erupted in applause. Sadly, this isn't the first time TikTok stalkers...
I love the, he's like, yeah, what clapping, yeah. Such a prick.
Side has made headlines, and it probably won't be the last. Case number 3.
Also, I'm glad that guy is in jail and never will get out.
Jan Rumin. Jan Rumin seems to be living the kind of life her 11,000 followers could only dream about. Known as Rooming on Chinese social media, The 38-year-old TikTok influencer filled her feed with snapshots of luxury, exotic travel, parties, and non-stop adventure. But what started as another glamorous gateway in June 2024 turned into a horrifying story that would end in murder. Yen arrived in Bangkok on June 26, keeping her followers in the loop with their usual travel updates. Then, on June 30th, her post suddenly stopped. Friends couldn't reach her, and worry started to creep in. A few days later, when the truth finally began to unravel, and it was a lot worse than anyone could have imagined. It turned out Yan had crossed paths with a man named Ma Quinyoung, a 34-year-old Chinese national, during her trip. By July 1st, he had allegedly killed her. Security footage later showed Ma leaving Bangkok in a rental car, making over a dozen stops along the way. His final stop was in Chachoengsao, where he burned documents, a suitcase, and other evidence in a remote area. Yan's dismembered body was found just a kilometer from that spot. The story didn't end there. Days after Yan's death, activity on her WeChat Pay account suggested someone was using it for purchases in Macau. This clue led investigators straight to Ma, who was caught pawning a fake watch on July 10th. He tried to make a run for it at the Taipai Fair.
The fact that I still say stalking is the least taken seriously crime there is. For some reason, there's so many police who just don't take stalking seriously, and I will never understand why, because it's a dangerous situation. But for some reason, police don't take it as dangerous, and I never can understand why.
Ferry terminal, hoping to escape to Hong Kong, but police stopped him before he could get away. It wasn't long before they confirmed his role in Yan's murder. This case left Yan's followers stunned, and it's not the only tragedy to shake the influencer world recently. Case number 14, Manelis Rodriguez. Manelis Rodriguez was more than just a TikTok star. She was a mom, a fighter, and someone who had worked hard to turn her life around. But in October 2024, her life would be tragically cut short. Originally from Puerto Rico but living in Georgia, Manelis was last seen on October 22nd at Walmart in Cornelia. That night, she sent her fiancé a text that felt off, like something was wrong. Then she didn't come home. Her family's worst fears became real a few days later when investigators found her body in a remote area. The search for answers led to Angel de Jesus Rivera Sanchez, a 24-year-old accused of kidnapping and murdering her. But this wasn't just a tragic crime. It quickly became part of a larger national conversation when it came out that Rivera Sanchez was in the U.S. illegally. The case lit a fire under the ongoing debates about immigration and border policies. On TikTok, Manelis had built a community by sharing little snapshots of her world, shopping hauls, heartfelt moments, and sweet clips of her and her child. Now, her mother, Carmen Rodriguez, has stepped into the spotlight, turning her grief into a call for justice. Standing beside Donald Trump at a rally in Macon, Georgia, Carmen spoke about her daughter and urged for changes to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening again. Thousands of miles away, another devastating loss would unfold as popular TikTok.
This is one of those cases I understand why someone would look at Trump as a thing, because, like, that's insane that someone who was illegally able to enter America was so violently took the life of an innocent person for their own selfish reasons. Like, that's fucked up. That's evil.
El Chalongo became the latest victim of cartel violence in Culiacan, Mexico. Case number 15, El Chalongo. Imagine filming a TikTok video, just going about your day, not knowing it would be your last. That's what happened to Juan Carlos Lopez, or El Chalongo, a popular Mexican TikToker who became famous selling street candy. Lopez was killed while recording in Culiacan, a place controlled by cartels. But this wasn't just random violence. It was tied to something bigger. Lopez often talked about Los Chapitos, a faction of the Sinaloa cartel run by El Chapo's son, Ivan Guzman. He also worked with Marquitos Toys, a YouTuber who's rumored to have links to the cartel. Cartels are now taking their turf wars online, using emojis and images like pizza slices and sombreros to claim their territory and send threats. For some, this has turned social media into a dangerous...
That's dumb. I'll say it. That's dumb. Try to be a bit more... that thing... Ain't no way I would take someone who's like, look, they're playing on turf. In the TikTok video, they had a pizza slice. That's it, it's on site. Like, I couldn't take that seriously. No matter how hard I tried, I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Space, and unfortunately, Lopez seemed to get caught up in it. And in Nigeria, another heartbreaking story took place, with the killing of a popular trans TikToker known as Abuya Area Mama. Case number 16, Abuya Area Mama. Abuya Area Mama, a popular Nigerian TikToker, was tragically found dead under violent and mysterious circumstances. Known for her honest posts, she was a trans woman who proudly described herself as the queen of the street, sharing the tough reality of her life as a sex worker. What seemed like just another video turned out to be one of her last. Her body was discovered by the Kantape Mabushi Expressway in Abuja. At first, police called her an unidentified lady, but later revealed she was biologically male, even though she was dressed as a woman. The case was now being treated as a culpable homicide, with authorities searching for answers in a city where people like her face constant danger. Just days before her death, Abuya Area Mama posted on Instagram saying she was about to meet her boyfriend. Fans were shocked when her body was found soon after. In a video from months before, she had talked about being stabbed by an unknown attacker, just one of the many dangers she faces both a trans woman and a sex worker in Nigeria, where both identities are criminalized. As this tragedy unfolded, another shocking TikTok story surfaced, this time about a family feud that nearly turned into a murder-suicide. Case number 17, Eshel Bertrand. Eshel Bertrand's TikTok, with over 4.3 million followers, was full of the usual pranks, beauty tips, and moments with her mom, Princess. But behind the scenes, something terrifying was about to happen, and it all started with a knock at the door. Luis Damas, Eshel's 64-year-old stepfather, had been angry for months. The end of his marriage to Frances had left him bitter, and he blamed Eshel for it. That night, he showed up at her Miami apartment with one thing on his mind: revenge. With a gun in hand, Damas forced his way inside, ready to kill. He didn't care about anything except making her pay. As Eshel hid under a mattress, she thought, "These are my last moments." Then, a shot rang out, just inches from her head. She survived, but the trauma was just beginning. Frances didn't back down. Even after Damas shoved her to the ground, pulled her hair, and threatened her with the gun, she kept fighting. She did everything she could to protect her daughter. Terrified, they waited a full day before calling the police. Damas was arrested and charged with attempted murder.
Yeah, this guy's a psychopath. That's psychopathic shit. That's some psychopath shit. That's crazy. Like, that's insanely crazy. This guy needs to be locked away. He's not safe for humans.
Murder and aggravated battery. Eshel shared her story on social media, asking for followers to pray for them and vowing to speak up for other abuse victims. She and Frances made it out alive, but many women don't. Now, Eshel is determined to fight for those whose voices aren't heard. For her followers, this is just the start of a journey. From reckless pranks to chilling crimes, TikTok has seen it all. If you're captivated by these real-life cases, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated on the latest shocking crimes from the world of TikTok. Case number 18, Winter Swan Miller. In June 2023,
Okay, she looks like a criminal. It might just be because this is the picture, but look at that. Tell me she does not look like she's a criminal. She absolutely does.
Swan Miller, a 37-year-old woman from Andover, Hampshire, posted a series of chilling TikToks that at first seemed like just another round of odd internet behavior, until you found out what had just happened. In one clip, she casually said, "I'm going to be taking a break from TikTok for a bit, because I've been a bad girl."
I'm going to be taking a break from TikTok for a bit, I think, because I've been a bad girl.
All while flashing a grin. But what Winter didn't mention, and couldn't, was the gruesome crime she had just committed. Days earlier, Winter had brutally stabbed 62-year-old Army vet Stuart Crocker to death, leaving his body surrounded by twisted, cryptic notes. Each one seemed to taunt the police, who she knew would eventually show up. 5 days later, he was found. One of the notes read, "How does this death feel? Haha, this is why I did it." Was it a confession or just a sick cry for attention? It was hard to tell. Later, Winter posted another TikTok talking about her victim like he was just an inconvenience. "They took away my dog," she said. "The only thing in the world I had. I did what I did because I had no choice." But her dog had been returned days before the murder. So what was it really about? A dog or something else entirely? After the killing, Winter walked into town, grabbed some McDonald's, then left her phone behind in a pub like she was preparing for her own arrest. After her arrest, an 11-week trial, the court convicted Winter Swan Miller of the murder.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you thought of these scandals from TikTok in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.